Hey babes, welcome or welcome back to and everything in between. I'm Victoria, your host and guide for navigating the beautiful chaos of your 20s. Whether you're building your dream career, figuring out relationships, or just trying to find you, this is your space for self-growth, real talk, and a little fun along the way. Let's dive into it and everything in between. Today, we're focusing on habits, those small, everyday actions that shape the big picture of our lives. Let's explore how we can use habits to build the life we want, one step at a time. In last week's episode, I mentioned how the book Atomic Habits by James Clear basically changed my life. It helped me to build a framework around my goals and for the habits I'd like to start. In this episode, I'll reference this book a lot, so if you're seriously ready to start or release a habit, definitely check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. After reading this quote, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement, I became really curious about what habits I currently have. Self-improvement requires you to review your life and determine what systems you have in place that have led you to where you are today. Take a moment to reflect on your current habits. What's one habit you have that is currently serving you well? Is it starting the morning with a glass of water? Is it brushing your teeth every morning and night? I hope so. And now think about a habit that isn't necessarily serving you or the person that you want to become. Take a moment here to reflect. What are habits? According to James Clear, habits are the small decisions you make and actions you perform every day. Did you know that small and sometimes unconscious habits actually take up a bulk of your day? In fact, researchers at Duke University have found that habits account for about 40% of our behaviors on any given day. In Atomic Habits, the author breaks down habits into a simple feedback loop: cue, routine, reward. For example, the cue. This could be waking up in the morning, the routine, brushing your teeth, and the reward, a fresh, clean feeling. Understanding this very simple loop system can help us build or break habits more effectively. Creating habits really comes down to the systems that we have in place. So, thinking about the cues that promote a certain behavior in your life and the feeling that it leads you to. So, for example, I use biting your nails or biting your cuticles a lot because it's something that I used to do in middle school. I would get very anxious about something. So, a test that I was about to take. That's the cue. The routine is biting my cuticle because I'm stressed, and it's the release provides the reward, which is like some kind of less anxious feeling. I don't know, but it's really about thinking, or it really comes down to thinking about the triggers that lead you to perform specific behaviors and what that allows you to feel. I used to have an understanding that habits were bad by definition, mostly because when we talk about habits casually, we only talk about the quote unquote bad ones, like biting your cuticles or eating a bag of chips at 12 a.m. every night. But habits can be a good thing. They should be a good thing that can help you become the best version of yourself over time. It's honestly taken me a bit to reframe my thinking around habits, but the feedback loop that I mentioned earlier, it really helped me to break it down to a simple step-by-step thought process. So, how do we form habits? Habits can be used to create automatic behaviors that lead us to become 1% better every day. Personally, Atomic Habits helped me to start meditating every night before bed. At first, it felt forced and uncomfortable because I wanted to spend as much time as possible either scrolling on TikTok or doing something quote unquote productive. I don't know. I would always find myself saying, okay, I'll stop scrolling in 10 minutes, look at the clock, and half an hour is gone. But now, through understanding my current or my habits at the time and trying to start a new one, meditating has become my go to way to clear my mind and set intentions at night. I don't even think about it anymore, honestly. It's just become a part of my routine. That's the power of habits. They build over time. The wise and very inspiring Cynthia Erivo says, just start. By starting and repeating the action every day or many times a day, 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now, you will be able to look back and see exponential growth just by starting. So, how do you actually form new habits? There are a few ways based on what works best for you and your personal learning style, but here are a few examples, some that I use and some that I have gathered from the book and from people that I talk to. Number one, habit trackers. If you are someone like myself who needs to see green check marks on a to-do list or your little square boxes checked off, this can be a great way to get started with the habit. If you want to drink more water, set a goal for 8 glasses a day. Create small little boxes or circles, 8 of them, and for each glass you drink, mark off that box. I personally I'm very digital. I like to use apps and my phone so that I can keep things in one place. So I personally use the app called Habit Tracker, and this helps me to track my progress with my habits. Number two, habit stacking. This is a technique that I find to be very helpful. So, habit stacking is adding on a habit that you want to start to something you already do. If you already make coffee every morning and you want to get into the habit of being more grateful, stack a gratitude practice by saying a few things you're grateful for as the coffee brews. I do this every morning when I'm doing my makeup with affirmations. And now I just feel off if I'm doing my face and my affirmations aren't playing in the background. So I'm killing two birds with one stone, and I've formed a habit that is productive for me and that allows me to feel better. Number three, have an accountability partner. What better way to start something new than with your friend or a trusted person who will keep you accountable? I love this idea for the girls who are looking to get into the gym. Find a partner and do it together. This is honestly, quite literally, a human hack. Having a partner increases relatability. This is one of our basic psychological needs as humans, which in turn increases our motivation. Something that I also enjoy doing is if I want to start doing something new, I will tell people about it because it will allow me to hold myself accountable because I don't want to say that I'm going to do something and then I don't do it and have people ask me like, "Oh, weren't you going to do this thing?" Like, yeah, I said it, but no. I think it's really important to have other people hold you accountable so that you actually end up doing the thing. Because why would you say that you're going to do something and not do it? Number four, set reminders in your phone. For the girls who forget things easily, also me, this reminder at a time where you know you will be able to do your new habit will be a game changer. Number five, start slow and create more goals as you go. For example, if you want to build the habit of running every day, but you are someone who runs maybe once every month, start running once a week, then twice a week, then 3 times a week, then 4, etc. That way, your overall goal doesn't seem so daunting. It allows you to gain competence, another basic psychological need, as you complete your smaller goals, which in turn increases your motivation. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, suggests making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. I cannot tell you how much these 4 little words have changed my life. It confused me at first because these are not adjectives I would normally think of when I hear the word habit. However, the more healthy habits I worked to build, the more I understood exactly why the author chose these words. For example, if you're trying to spend less time on your phone during bedtime, like I was, make it obvious. Don't have your charger plugged into the socket closest to your pillow. Plug it in far away so that you're not tempted to be on your phone at night. Make it attractive. So if you plug your phone in the corner by your vanity, place a treat there for yourself where you now plug in your phone, and you're more likely to do it, making it satisfying for you to accept whatever treat you gave to yourself and just jump into bed. Here are a few tips that can help you along the way if you're trying to start a new habit or release one that isn't serving you. Know that it's okay to miss a day when you're just starting out. Give yourself grace for even trying, and stay motivated by reminding yourself who you can be in a year from now if you just keep going. Or if you find yourself unable to start, or you find yourself continuing a habit that isn't moving you towards the person you want to be, consider a small gesture towards the new habit. If you keep using TikTok and you have a goal that you want to use it less or eliminate it from your daily routine entirely, and you just can't find the will to. And I understand, because Lord knows I used to owe my entire daily screen time to it. But if you find yourself scrolling for hours, don't get mad at yourself or feel like you deserve to be punished. Acknowledge the behavior and maybe consider journaling for 10 minutes or doing the habit you want to do when you notice you're doom scrolling. So acknowledging the behavior is the first part of breaking a negative habit. After listening to this episode, I hope you take a moment to think about what area of your life you want to improve. What habit can you form that will make you feel 1% better every day? This is also the same for habits that are not conducive to the person you want to be. How often are you scrolling on TikTok? Are you trying to stop biting your nails? Think about the actionable ways that you can replace these habits with something new. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode resonated with you or would be helpful for someone you know, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube and share it with a friend. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram at and.everything.inbetween for updates, and you can find me on Instagram at victoria.liverpool. This podcast is sound designed and edited by Misty Avenger. Music for this podcast is The Dude by Matt Large, courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Details provided in the description. Remember, episodes drop weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. Until then, keep growing, glowing, and remember, you got this.